Hey everyone, welcome back. So we just completed 10.3, which is how to see fractions and break fractions up within a shape. Well, today I'm going to explain how fractions work on a number line less than 1, okay? So I'm starting off on page 463 on the Explore and Grow. I know that thinking about fractions on a number line can be really scary and it can seem like super confusing at first, but I promise we're going to get through some examples and you'll get it just fine. Okay, so looking at 463, okay, it says use the 1/6 fraction strips to complete the fraction on the number line. Well, unfortunately, I don't have fraction strips here at home. You probably don't have fraction strips here at home. So I'm going to explain to you how to solve on a number line without using fraction strips. However, if you can always print off fraction strips online if that's an option, or you can just use a ruler to help you measure out to get equal shares, okay? So we have to complete the fractions on the number line, and then we're going to plot 3/6 on the number line, okay? So this is what we're going to do. I went ahead and drew my number line and labeled it just how they do here in the book. So I've got my 0 and my 1, and then I have 1/6 and 2/6, which the book already gives us, and then we have 3 empty squares that we need to fill in ourselves, okay? So since I don't have fraction strips to help me, I'm going to draw a picture. So I'm going to use my blue marker to help me draw a picture, and I'm going to think of this whole number line right now as one large rectangle, okay, with my 0 and my 1, and I'm going to split it up just like this. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal parts of this one rectangle, okay? Now, each equal part is worth 1/6. Okay, so this whole shaded part right here is 1/6. And then I'll even come over here and I'll skip one. This shaded part is also 1/6, and so on and so forth. Okay, so if I colored in the whole thing, I would have 6 sections of 1/6. Just like that, okay? So now what I need to do is I need to be able to fill in the spots on the number line, fill in those blank slates, okay? So I've got this one section is 1/6. Now I have 2 equal shares, so that's 2/6. 1, 2, 3 equal shares, so this middle one is going to be 3/6. 4 equal shares is 4/6. 5 equal shares is 5/6, and then finally we know 1 whole, or just like we talked about briefly in 10.3, it could also be 6/6, okay? So that was step 1, is filling in those 3 blank fractions. And now it says plot 3/6 on a number line. Well, if we remember back to what we already know about number lines, we know that a plot is shown with one thick circle like that, okay? So I'm going to look at my number line. I've got 0 to 1, and I have my fractions of my numbers in them in between. And I'm going to go and find 3/6, which is right here in the middle, and I'm going to give myself a nice, good plot so I can clearly see it. And then down at the bottom it says precision. Plot 6/6 on the number line. We already did that, and we talked a little bit about that in the last lesson. So cool, this is like a quick, easy review for us. So we went ahead and we can plot 6/6. It's right here at 1 whole. And what do we notice? Well, 6/6 is the same as 1 whole. Easy, right? All right, let's move on. So when I'm looking at 464, it gives us a little bit more information. It says every number on a number line represents the distance from 0. Okay, so we're always moving some distance away from the number 0. The distance from 0 to 1 is a whole. Just like in this drawing, I've got one whole rectangle. One whole. A number line can be divided into any number of equal parts or distances. Well, that's what we just did. We broke this up into 6 equal parts or 6 equal distances from 0 to 1. Okay, so we're going to do another example. We're going to do another one. Okay, and this one, I'm looking at the example on 464 where we're going to plot 3/4. Okay, so first, always, I know you have number lines in your book, but if you're just going to practice on paper, it's also good to always draw out your number line, okay? So it gives us 0 and 1. All right, here we go. So the first thing that we need to do is divide the length from 0 to 1 into 4 equal parts, okay? So it looks like they did that for you. So we have 1, 2, I'm never good at this one, 2, something like that. It's a lot more equal in your book, so always double check with the book, okay? So we had divided it from 0 to 1 into 4 equal parts, okay? So that was step 1. Let's look at step 2, okay? So step 2 is label, okay? We are labeling each tick mark. So if labeling makes me a little nervous, I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to turn this into one large rectangle and I'm going to divide it at the tick marks. So I've got 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. So I have 4 equal shares of 1/4, okay? So from 0 to this first tick, I'm just going 1/4. 0 to the second tick, I'm going 2/4. 0 to the third tick, 3/4. And 0 to 1 is 1 whole or 4/4. Okay? So that was part 2, or step 2 was to label. Awesome. So now we're on to step 3, and step 3 is to plot 3/4. Well, now since it's labeled, the plotting is one of the easiest things to do. I'm just going to give myself a nice big plot right there. Okay? And so that is telling us to think. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the think. I'm going to think that there are how many 1/4 that equal or fourths are 3/4. Well, how many 1/4 did I have to go to make the 3/4 tick? 1, 2, 3. So think that there are 3 1/4 is 3/4, okay? I'm going to get another example. All right, so let's go on and let's do number 2 on 464. So like I did before, I'm going to start off with my number line. And it gives me the 0 tick and the 1 tick. And this picture was awesome because it went ahead and divided it. It gave us the picture of the 1/6. So that's what I'm going to draw right now. I'm going to draw a rectangle to help me, and I'm going to divide that into 6 equal parts. Mine's not the most equal, but I have 6 equal parts. So if you remember from our last one, that is step 1. Okay, and I've got 6 equal parts, so each equal share is worth 1/6. Okay, and we are looking to label or to plot 2/6 on the number line. So step 1 was divided into 6 equal parts. Done. Step 2 is to label each tick. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to count the number of ticks away from 0, and I'm going to fill in my fraction. And then when I get to 1, it's always 1 or the fraction 6/6. Okay? That was step 2. And step 3 is plot 2/6 on the number line. Well, I'm going to go over my 2 ticks, give myself a nice plot, and I'm going to think that there are 2 1/6 are 2/6. Okay, so that's just being able to understand that 2 equal shares of 1/6 is equal to 2/6. Okay, now looking ahead, you're going to end up with a couple of questions where they don't give you the tick mark, so you're going to have to fill it in yourself. And again, you can always draw a picture. I find drawing the picture super helpful for me. And then you're going to have to plot whatever it asks. So number 4, it says 5/6. You'll have to either draw your picture or give 6 equal shares, because the number or the distance between 0 and 1 is going to be your denominator. That's how many equal shares you need. And the numerator is how many equal shares of the whole that you're looking at. So you'd be looking at 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of your equal shares, and you would plot it there, okay? Completing the number line, like looking at number 8, same thing. You might have to count the ticks and figure out what your denominator is. Your denominator is always going to be the number, the total number of equal shares per whole, okay? So the one we've been doing was 6 equal shares. In the very first example, it was 4 equal shares, so it might always change, okay? So you're really just going to have to look at what is the question asking you. Never be afraid to draw your own picture. For me, I find it really helpful. You can always use a ruler if you have one to make sure your equal shares are in fact equal, because when you do go and complete this lesson online, you are going to have to be able to draw the ticks on your number line, okay? So you're going to have to make sure that you understand how to do that. Just read each question carefully, especially when you get into the digging deeper and talking about like the gymnast and the tightrope walker. Always draw your picture and try it and figure it out. I know you can do it. And if needed, you are always welcome to go back and watch this video again and get a more in-depth explanation one more time. Or like always, you can email us with questions or log on to our class soon. Okay, good luck.